Cole Palmer scored 2 goals and registered an assist to João Pedro to help Chelsea defeat PSG 3-0 in the finals of the Club World Cup in front of Donald Trump. But that was not all, because Robert Sanchez kept the best performance of his time at Chelsea for yesterday. Malo Gusto was so good on that day. Trevor Chalobah and Levi Colwill were just fantastic. Marc Cucurella just unimaginable. Moses Caicedo and Reece James in the midfield were just so good. Enzo Fernandez, before he was taken off, was just fantastic. Talk about Pedro Neto on the left, always helping to stop Achraf Hakimi. You just can't have words to describe his performance. And then Cole Palmer, the best player of the tournament, and João Pedro. How did you arrive here? How did you afford to make that cheap over Donnarumma? Welcome to the channel, guys. We are reacting to our Club World Cup win, Club World Cup battling. We defeated PSG with flair. We did to them what they have been doing to the likes of Arsenal, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Atletico Madrid. We defeated them 3-0, 3 goals before halftime. 2 goals from Cole Palmer. They gave him freedom to shoot on his best foot, on his left, and he couldn't forgive them. And then that assist to João Pedro that he finished in style meant that we were 3 goals up before halftime. Of course, the goals do not define this game alone, but the way we approach the game, the tactical approach of Enzo Maresca, the team he selected was just fantastic. It's a similar team to what he selected in the second game of the group against Flamengo, the game we lost 3-1. But this time, it really worked out. Malo Gusto as a right back, and then Reece James into the midfield, and this allowed Enzo Fernandez to go further. And this meant that Cole Palmer didn't have to drop back to defend, but he did that. Cole Palmer was tracking throughout the game. You saw him winning balls back, and then Pedro Neto did exactly the same on the left wing. So it was really a good day for a Chelsea fan. It's really a wonderful time to be a Blue. What did you make of the game? Of course, let us look at maybe player by player. Robert Sanchez, he made about 6 saves. He didn't make any serious errors, I think, except towards the end of the game. There is that time where he kind of messed up, but throughout the game, he was fantastic, not just at stopping the balls, but even the way he was distributing the ball. Robert Sanchez was just too good, and he didn't play from the back so often, so that I think saved us from that PSG place, and it allowed us to disturb their setup in the midfield and their defense. Going away from Robert Sanchez, actually his performance before Aigawe allowed him to win the best goalkeeper of the tournament, and he deserved it for his performance yesterday. He hasn't been horrible through the season, if we are to be honest. He has been quite decent, and we hope he can keep that through the season. If he would perform like that, then why wouldn't we want to keep him? But the consistency is needed. And then right back, Malo Gusto, he created the first goal. He always joined with Cole Palmer when we were attacking, and this meant that Nuno Mendes was restricted from overlapping, and it helped us, and they really took advantage of him. Sometimes it would be Cole Palmer dropping into the midfield to get the balls back, and then he plays it past Nuno Mendes, and of the sudden Malo Gusto is ahead of him, and we are having a chance. And then from Malo Gusto, you talk about our centre-back pairing between Trevor Chalobah and Levi Colwill. They were really too good. We didn't see anything of Ousmane Dembele throughout the game. Actually, I just saw him getting a yellow card, similar to what Malo Gusto and Reece James combined to do to Kvaratskhelia. I just saw him getting out of the game when he was subbed off. And then on the left, we had Marc Cucurella. In the semi-finals, he cleared a ball off the line, and even yesterday he did something similar. When the game was still 0-0, he intercepted a cross, a cutback from Desarde that if maybe had been met by someone from PSG, say Ousmane Dembele, it would have been 1-0 to PSG, and that would have changed the result a lot. But Marc Cucurella, you were so good on that day. And also winning us the red card that sealed the win. But also the way he linked up with the midfield and also helping Pedro Neto when we had to attack. The way these guys didn't fear that PSG press. When we had to attack, they would go and link up and join up with the midfield and then with the attackers. And then Reece James, I have already talked about him. His contribution in the midfield was just magnificent. They took advantage. They stopped that PSG midfield of João Neves, Vitinha, and Fabian Ruiz from performing. Moses Caicedo, wow, what a midfielder we have. You are the best defensive midfielder in the world, Moses Caicedo. And then Enzo Fernandez, having used Reece James and Caicedo, it allowed him to attack more, to help the team better when we have the ball, but also it gave us advantage because Enzo would help us more in defending than maybe if we had played Cole Palmer as a 10. And then we talk about Pedro Neto on the left wing. He didn't contribute so much going forward, but his work in defending and stopping Achraf Hakimi was really fantastic. Going to the right wing, the man himself, the cold one, Cole Palmer, you deserved to be the best player of the tournament and you got it. And then the best player of the match, you got it. 2 goals, an assist, but also your work with and without the ball was just fantastic. How you always tracked back the ball, winning it, combining with Reece James and Malo Gusto. It was really fantastic. Your effort stopped Kvaratskhelia and Nuno Mendes from doing anything sensible on that day. And then João Pedro. Which planet are you from, João Pedro? You did to score 2 goals against your childhood club Fluminense in the semi-finals in style, and you repeated that yesterday with a chip over the very best goalkeeper in the world at the moment. That's Donnarumma. He couldn't, I think, understand what was going on. And then you have to give credit to the manager in Enzo Maresca. The way he organized his team, the way he told them not to fear, and that is it. And also, besides maybe the team that was on the pitch, you have to give credit to some of our former players, especially Mikel Obi. When everyone was writing off, you came out loud and said, we are going to win, we can win. Everyone was saying Chelsea, we are going to be battered 4-0, 5-0, some people saying even 7, but where are they? So you always believed in the team because you've been in a similar situation. You were part of that 2012 team that won the UEFA Champions League from Bayern Munich in their own stadium in Allianz Arena, and you knew we could repeat it. We did that in 2021 in Porto against Manchester City. Why couldn't we do it yesterday? And I think the biggest difference, there was this comparison before the game. There is no single Chelsea player that can get in a PSG team. Why not? How is Desarde better than Cole Palmer? Which PSG defensive midfielder is better than Caicedo? And then for the left backs, of course, Achraf Hakimi and Nuno Mendes are good, but our left backs are good too. Reece James is quality. Cucurella is quality, even if maybe the other one might be better because they have been winning and everyone hypes them. Our players are good too. João Pedro came on that day and he showed, I can do this. We didn't see anything from Ousmane Dembele. And then the substitutes, Andre Santos came in for Enzo Fernandez just after an hour, and he did fantastic. We saw Liam Delap doing some great work. Delap, your movements are good. You just have to become more clinical. Maybe it was just the goalkeeper you were facing was fantastic, but your movements are also superb. They are really good, and we are the champions of the world. We are the Club World Cup winners 2025. We did that in 2021, and I think in 2013 Corinthians defeated us 1-0, but here we are the first to win this extended version where we have teams, multiple teams from Europe going there, because initially Europe would only send the UEFA Champions League winner. This time they sent a couple of teams, and Chelsea were the strongest of all those teams, the likes of PSG, Madrid, Bayern, Inter, Juve, Benfica, Porto. Chelsea was better than them, or they showed that by beating the UEFA Champions League holders. And in a space of 1.5 months, we have been crowned champions twice, and Cole Palmer scored 2 times yesterday and registered an assist, and in the final against Real Betis he registered 2 assists, and that shows you how this man rises up to the big occasions. And maybe there we set our bar too high. The expectations of the media and the opposing teams is going to be different. If we can beat PSG, that teams like Liverpool and Arsenal couldn't eliminate from the Champions League, it means we can compete with them. We can beat them. That performance in the first half is world class. Should we play like that, we can really compete and even win the title. Should Robert Sanchez stop making those unnecessary errors, we can really be a good team. Should Trevor Chalobah and Levi Cole will develop and become that real partnership. No one doubts the abilities of Cucurella. We all know what Caicedo is. We all know what Reece James is. But there are those areas where we need either to keep up like what we did yesterday or get someone better. And then João Pedro, you are here. We welcomed Liam Delap, but for you have put up statement performances in this tournament, and we will look to see what lies ahead. And should you keep like that, you're so clinical. You don't need 2 chances to score. Sometimes in the semi-finals, that first goal wasn't even a clear chance, but you did take the shot anyway and you scored. So we are there, and I hope we can really compete very well next season. Of course, if you compare, there is that game against Brentford in the Premier League. I watched that and I was like, the first half, if we were playing like that, we could win the league. So we've been a younger team, but now next year each of these guys is going to be at least a year older, meaning that we are starting to grow, and the manager is starting to really understand the dynamics, abilities, and weaknesses of his squad, and I hope he can get better results from them. Thank you for watching. If you have watched this part, consider subscribing. Thank you.